Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nisprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase. Om. Welcome everyone. Chakra meditation today. Call it chakra repair. Right? Maybe you blew out a chakra. So let's see what we can do. Right now we're just going to bask in the alignment of all the chakras in the spine. Beautiful rainbow body. Just feel the light at the top. It's all this beautiful rainbow energy dropping down into the spine. There's three kinds of Kundalini, essentially. There's the Sri Ma Kundalini that rises up the spine and has an evolutionary journey to meet with the top of the head. And then it's like a Kundalini grace that comes down from above, enters us through the Brahmani Nadi when we're a baby, grace flowing down often. And then the third form of Kundalini is the chakras themselves, radiating their particular landscape, their particular energies, their particular situation. So we've got energy going up, energy coming down from above, energy radiating out from the inside out. So we'll just take a minute and notice all three of these aspects of the Kundalini, right? This grace from above, a rising Shakti from below, and the radiance of the chakras. So again, welcome to Thursday meditation. Just get ready for a lovely little journey. We're going to travel essentially up the spine, up through the chakra worlds. I think we'll arrive at the throat chakra today and save the pineal gland and the Sahasrara chakra for Monday. That's another universe. So we're just going to make solid these first 5 chakras. The base chakras are founded on the geometry of the cube, usually associated with earth energy, but in fact it's red in color, it's a fire element. So it's best to understand it as like the core of the earth energy, the fire pit, the Kundalini. And that orange yellow glow is like the fire creation arising. It comes up into the heart, into the green frequency, 570 gigahertz. It's like rainbow central. Just feeling this beautiful spaciousness of the heart, the healing energy that radiates from there, 50,000 femtotesla field. And then that heart energy rises up into this. It's like another octave. It's like the higher octave of the lower chakras. So just rising up into the throat, into the logos, into the word, into the blueprint, into the narrative, into the story. The tale we tell, and are trapped by and often challenged by it. So this blue chakra, it's very cooling. It works with to balance out the base of the spine, the red power. So we're just letting these energies pull us inside, create this absorption, beautiful absorption. On some level, the chakras are like barometers. They're not the instigators. They kind of reflect what's going on in us. And yet they have a basis of their own. They're anchored in the noble gases. So the heart chakra is anchored in argon, which is connected to the cobalt element. It'd be like saying B12, cyanocobalamin, integrating with the heart, feeling the power of your chest, the peace, the good feeling is there. Just letting the outside world relax around you. It really does want to respond to you. And so it's not necessarily the nemesis that we make it out to be sometimes. Let's say the universe is self-reflecting. It's there for you. So you just want to tell it what to do. What is it you want? Just declaration. Talk to your supercomputer. Just program it the way you want it. It's half of the deal. Essentially, the ask and you shall receive. Google and you will be informed. And I love this word, informed, because it implies being in formation. Satchidanandamurtaye Nisprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase. Just feel that peace washing through, beautiful peace. So if we take a look at this Buddhist mandala, there's almost like the person's on DMT, the artist. But at the very center, this Buddha is there, this shimmering being. Just feel this, it's like in the chest, in this deep, deep being, in the heart, meditating. Like this little Buddha, right? You can put matches in the bottom and source of enlightenment. So we're just feeling this little Buddha that's in the heart, this being that's observing, is anchored in there. Just feeling this part of yourself. It's always radiating out. It's always meditating. It's like joining the meditation with your deeper self that's already meditating. This absorption, this deep pull, it pulls us inside. Beautiful feeling. Just noticing what's happening in the body. Feel the lower spine, the mid spine, upper spine. All these different worlds radiating out of us. As we drop deeper, the sense of the body disappears. It's there, but it feels more like energy. As you get more and more still, the mind parks itself like a bird. Bird on a wire, just sitting there, peaceful, quiet. Drop into the deep I am, underneath all the chakras. So from this deeper place, it's easier to feel where we might be out of balance. So we're going to tune into this first chakra. I'm going to bring in the drum here. Some murdangam from India. First chakra is boom chakra, earth energy. So you can feel that. Drummers have very awakened first chakras. Chakra. Okay, so let's travel. So let's establish our first chakra, our root chakra. Let's go back into the cycle of the last 80 years and take a look at the cultural chakra for a minute that we're part of. So we noticed that starting in 1945, end of the Second World War, we began a new 80-year cycle, right? Revolutionary War, Civil War, Second World War, till now. So what's the significance of this? Well, I would suggest that the chakras of the political, call it pendulum, exist, meaning every 16 years it moves to a new chakra of this phase. So you could say that the first chakra is the 50s, right? Everything's kind of basic, like survival, post-war trauma. Everyone wants their little house. Everyone wants to be cozy, little white fence. Everything's like cozy, right? And then rock and roll starts to come in at the end of that. When it starts, boom, boom starts to move, right? And move into that second chakra, which you could say from our historical point of view was the 60s. We had, up till then, you had Truman, Eisenhower, 8 years Democrat, 8 years Republican. So there's like a polarity in the chakra, right? That it swings from sort of conservative to progressive, back to conservative, alternating cycle. And this is happening in us in different ways, curiously. And it plays out on the macro. So let's keep looking at the macro for a minute because it's unusual. So let's say you say the 60s go till another 16-year cycle till Carter becomes president in 76, 77. So that would, let's say, second chakra. So we have Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, right? You got a lot of presidents, but it's still a 16-year cycle in there, right? It has to do with all sorts of cultural changes, right? The 60s, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Then that's a watery chakra, right? This is turbulent times, chaos, different kinds of cultural transformation going on that are kind of scorpionic. And then we move into this fire period. So you have Jimmy Carter with solar panels on the White House roof, and then that moves into Reagan and then Bush. So you have another 16-year cycle of a fair amount of warfare in there. Send in the Marines, third chakra. So then we get to the heart chakra. And so that you could say 1992 up through Obama, right? So you've got Clinton and then Bush Cheney, call it. So you got 8 years of one kind of energy, 8 years of another kind. They kind of swing between each other, right? And so where are we? You could call that the heart chakra, right? Kind of a darker phase of the heart, lighter phases in there. And then we come up to the throat chakra, which is about expression, very high level expression with Obama for 8 years. And then let's say the second category of Trump-Biden, I'll leave that up to you. Very interesting throat chakra development here, right? With between how things are phrased, truth, what's true, what's not true, right? It's all about the story that's being told, fake news, all that kind of stuff. So that we get into that bandwidth here, the story we're telling. So let's just hold that thought now. So we've arrived, right, at the fifth chakra, 80-year cycle. If you study the people that talk about generational stuff like this, they suggest that essentially it's 4 times 20, it's 4 generations, 20 years. But if you look at these political cycles, it's really more like 5 cycles of 16 years, which is like 5 chakras in an 80-year period, right? It's like a life of a person. And then the cycle shifts, right? COVID is sort of that chaotic phase that was the Second World War is now. We're at the beginning of a new cycle. So let's breathe into that thought. The whole point of saying this is that the throat chakra, the creativity center of sorts, is the genesis center for the new arc, right? For where we're going to go forward the next 80 years. We're talking it into being, right? Languaging creates reality, essentially. So feel the power of this chakra, right? It's conjoined with the first, meaning 1 goes to 5. Why? Because the 3 below the heart, you could say 3 below the heart, 3 above the heart. There's a octave resonance there. So 1 to 5, 2 to 6, 3 to 7, all spinning around the heart. So we notice chakra 1 to chakra 5. So our narrative depends on our survival. So noticing the relationship of chakra 1 to chakra 5 in your life. I think some of us might have blown a chakra along the way. So it feels like the repair kit is in chakra 5 today. Like 1, people seem to have their housing together to some degree, at least more evolved folks. But what's the truth? What's happening? What's the future? What story is the true story? Seems to be a more difficult proposition, more up for review. And so this is disturbing, this chakra feels to me. Mine feels disturbed. Feels that way collectively. So let's zoom in. So what is this chakra? 16 petals, which means 16 energetic circuits. In certain philosophies, it's associated with vowels and the phases of the moon, open waveform. And then where consonants come in, it locks it in. So the vowel is like the beautiful creation energy. And the consonant is like the closure on it. So we're constantly doing open, close, open, close. Just noticing this. Every thought we think, every idea we think out, we somehow attach ourselves to and think that's reality in that moment, which could be good or bad. So again, the story we're telling. I'm suggesting that there's a cultural story that accompanies this kind of process of the body, the way vibrations are stacked, the way the colors are stacked, the way frequencies are stacked, the way we operate. It has a fractal nature to it, and that fractal nature is a repeating rainbow effect, essentially, right? This particular octave repeats on another octave or lower octave. The geometry of the universe. So each chakra has octaves, each chakra has geometry. So this 16 petals sits above the 12 petaled heart. 12 is the number of gold. Dodecahedron, which sits on a 10-seated chakra that sits upon an 8 and then a 4. It's almost kind of, not exactly Fibonacci series, but there's a geometry. Sort of basking in the glow of your very own flow. Good feeling coming out of the heart attracts the healing. Sitting still is commitment. If we practice sitting still periodically, you'll feel that inward pull, that absorption that wants to pull us in when we're doing other things. Now, for whatever reason, I'm not getting the text scroll today. I'll have to figure that out another time. So I'm not able to see what you're writing today, alas. Got this, we're also streaming on YouTube. So there's something that's confusing me. But nonetheless, I can feel you guys. Thank you for being here. Just feel the shared resonance. I'll read your comments later. Thank you. And just kudos to Susan Cross, who emailed me that she started joining these meditations a year ago, and she went back to the clinics that she was originally tested at for various infirmities, and the doctors could not believe the state that she's in. She's so healthy, so radiant. The numbers are so amazing. Wrote me this whole detail about all the email about all the details. So kudos. Yes, meditation can do this, right? The stillness clears the illness. We're just going to drop in and feel that healing force that comes from the chakras, that comes emanating out of us. Ah, chemo, I can see your yes. I don't know where that came from, somewhere. So maybe if you write, it'll pop up on my screen in a different way than I'm thinking. But yes, this inside-out healing vector is not the way of the world for the most part, right? The world wants to do outside-in chemical model. Yay, chemical model, but electromagnetic model covers all kinds of interesting territory. Mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic. These are not always accommodated in the medical model. So we want to blend them, right? Bring it all together. Yes, Nan, I got your message there. So yeah, so they're popping in different parts of the screen. Just depends on what kind of computer you have. So we're just basking in this peace that comes from within. So you'll be able to see the guitar, but it's just not going to happen today. It's a little piece called Icarus by the Paul Winter Consort. He flies a little close to the sun and falls into the sea. So we don't want to be burned. Right? We want that inner sun, non-toxic inner radiant sun. Just feel that blazing in the heart, beautiful golden light. The heart is not just a physical organ. It's like a black hole, right, of the good variety, causal body. You know, Sherry Amati, who might be online today with us, sent this beautiful picture she took of, it was like a flower with a butterfly on it, but the center of the flower was like a black hole going into infinity. So beautiful. You could see it on her website. So deep in there is this, it's like this beautiful black hole. It's like the center of the flower. It's like, black hole, that sounds scary. But when we get absorbed, it's like, it's a beautiful dark, cozy dark. When we feel that absorption pull us in during the day at certain times, we feel that meditative peace. It's a very specific, you could say very juicy feeling. It just is, right? It's the gift of that heart radiance. So we want to expand the mind, meditate on expanded thoughts, giant galaxies, Grand Canyons, huge space, very alkaline. Releases us from our limitations, and then opens us up so it's easier to experience the Supreme Self. All right, so we're not just surfing the chopped up stuff, right? We can get nice long waves of consciousness. It's like being in a primordial forest where everything is clear and clean and no interference. Just feel this inner kingdom surfing the long waves, massive magnitudes of the heart, all converging. Ah, there's Sherry. Yes. Send them any more information about that picture because it's such a great picture, or send it to us as a group. So we're breathing, feeling the nature of the black hole that's inside of us. This causal sheath within which is nested the supreme principle, blue pearl. It's like you got to dive into the pool to go down and get the jewel. Dive in the pool to get the jewel. All right, a new aphorism. And what is this jewel? The pure I am consciousness. Might think, yeah, what's that? It's everything. Let's feel that. In eternal pure am I-ness, your supreme inner highness. You're the king, you're the queen, you know what I mean. You're celestial, you're in between. Just breathing in, just feeling the magnitude of your being. It's always right there. We just need to be coaxed into it. It's like where we've moved, there's all these cottontail rabbits running around, and like, wow, where do these guys live? They go back in their little rabbit holes. Right, so in a sense we're following the rabbit hole into the heart, deep into the pure I am. This is rose quartz, good for the heart, right? Beautiful rose quartz in the heart, just feel that. beautiful ball of love. Dropping down, dropping down. Get in touch with your taste, smells, the subtle feelings in the body. More subtle than our crazy head, crazy mind that wants to. Right? We've talked in the last few sessions about the Vijnanamaya Kosha, this bandwidth of gnosis, of more spacious awareness that comes in between the self and our reactivities. So you could say this is the spiritual activity, is to transcend reactivity. So perhaps the greatest statement I could suggest for healing is to say that when you experience or accept reality for exactly the way it is, there's no resistance, there's no reactivity. There's just what it is, right? And there you are. So easy. So if we have an issue with it, essentially it's something that's responding to us, right? So what are we doing that make it respond like that? So if it's a crazy response, then, right, we use it as the self-reflector, bimba pratibimba universe, palace of mirrors. Don't bring in the barking dog place. So you bring the peace in there and infinite reflections. So relaxing the brain, relaxing the neck and shoulders, relaxing the chest. You know, when something releases from the body, there's a very interesting thing that happens. It kind of knocks you out. Actually, I was working with someone today who had a cyst on their right ankle, and it was a uric acid thing. It has to do with the right side of the heart not pumping correctly, and that person wasn't experiencing that like that. It was just this big pain in their foot. But as we uncovered some of the background radiations going on, the person got sort of groggier and groggier, went deep, the brain couldn't compute it, and so out like a light the person went. And then I called them back, and their pain had, that cyst had shrunken down, and the pain was totally gone. So it's interesting to note it's like the person like checks out, right, to allow the energy to move through. So if you find yourself falling asleep in meditation or thinking you're falling asleep, part of it is there's healing movements that are moving through you. There's Shakti that's excavating certain portals, that is cleaning up certain dimensions of your psyche. And we're usually so caught up in it, but when it's being cleansed, it's like we take a back seat. So let's just do that. Let's take a back seat. Just let whatever wants to release from us, release. The chakras are not so much holding it in as our psyche. And then the chakras are kind of almost like weather vanes, right? They're reporting back what's happening. They're less the coaxial agent here, right? They're more the, hey, we were just watching here as they radiate, right? They have their own radiance. They have their own addictions as well, right? Certain addictions linked to certain chakras. So if you have an addiction issue, start to notice which chakra seems to be governing this. And then go and work with that, right? Release it, cleanse it, clear it. Maybe next time we'll get into some of the subtleties of that, which addictions go with which chakras. It's a large subject. But right now, just experiencing the first 5 chakras, kind of in alignment, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. It's like the 5th, right? We're playing the 5th. Like that ratio is the most resonant ratio in music. Yes, I do work on weight normalization for responding to that question. We can do some of that in a minute. Let's do this. Just notice the difference between that and Okay, there's a 4th from one angle and there's a 5th from another. And then these are octaves. Just letting that 5th heal you. It's a geometry unto itself. There's a talk, several I gave on weight and how the body makes fat through stress. You can look back on YouTube, there are maybe like 20 sessions ago. Let's work with it in a different way tonight, because everybody has weight issues, whether you're too skinny or too heavy. So let's say the body likes to encapsulate things. Woundedness can weigh a lot on some level. People who are blocking themselves with more fats are hiding somewhere in there, right? There's creating a barrier. So one of the best ways to lose weight is be like me. No, I don't weigh anything hardly. Just be it's like open, strong and protected, but open and vulnerable from a good point of view, right? There's actresses and actors that are paid $20 million for a film to be vulnerable, right? It's something they're capable of acting, right? But to be vulnerable means you're close to the truth. You're not blocking, you're not resisting reality. You're accepting reality for exactly the way it is. It's just washing and passing through you. And it's not grabbing and getting hooked, and you're not creating accumulations. So let's say for anyone, let's say you have too many pounds, let's say we'll just send them to the black hole and pick a number. Let's say you want to get rid of 10 pounds. Just imagine that and send it to the black hole for recycling, and the body image, reset it for how you want to look. And we're going to clear excess dead cells, cellular waste, garbage in the body. There's literally pounds of waste in us. So I'm going to delete that, send it all to the black hole. Ascending colon, transverse colon especially feels, maybe it's a few folks in the group or the group. Little transverse colons where some extra weight needs to delete. And then descending colon. And so elimination, eliminating weight from your life. Weighty people, meaning people who are oppressive, excess baggage, too much stuff. You get the idea. So we come into the lightness, identify with the light. The light is very light. When I work with people with this, they start literally feel lighter. There's like a buzzing feeling in their body as the density of the molecules goes from being particulate and let's call it calcified to being ionized and liquefied, or you could say de-densified, liberated from particularity, right? So we become more waveform. And as you bump your frequency up, you know, let's explain it like this. There's Dr. David Hawkins, knighted by the Queen, doctor of philosophy, doctor of medicine, has a book called Power versus Force. And in this book, he delineates the frequency table of higher consciousness. So the way he's got it written out would be like 1,000 would be like pure light. And if you're at the 900 level, you're a super yogi. And if you're 800, you're advanced aspirant, you're enlightened person, over 700 or whatever. And then even over 400 is very advanced, right? And it's all exponential. So you get up in these higher frequencies, all kinds of wonderful things going on. Down in the lower density frequencies, we're accompanied by such wonderful experiences as resentment and funky stuff, right? Is in the denser levels. And I've also seen that Hawkins scale represented actually as a Hertz scale, so that if you're at 400, what that is 400 Hertz. So, and some other folks have used this kind of technology to say, this mystic tested at like 4,000 Hertz. It's like one pure blinding light of a human. So, yeah, how much light are you radiating literally correlates with how light you are on some level, right? Because your lightness is going to be vibratory, energetic, waveform, and not heavy stuff. So with your mind, you can get lighter. That's the idea. And right now, let's say we're just sending grace, requesting from the universe that anything you don't need in your body, whether it's a habit, an addiction, the wrong people, whatever it is, we just want to delete it, release it from your field. So you're moving into the wish-fulfilling future, moving into the way you want it to be. Breathing into that thought. And just sit for a moment. You might disappear even. Just let that mystical light ascend with you. Just move up the ladder of frequency, lightening up. It can feel effortless, it can feel fantastic. It can also feel like work. It's like, but then the yoga class can feel like work, right? And then you feel amazing later, but you did the work, right? So, In a sense, we're doing some of the work. Health, from this point of view, is realization. And then you could add, I like to say, add activation. So once you realize what's going on, then you can do stuff. But let's say step one, realization. Just say eyes closed, monitoring the body. What's going on in the body? Are you dehydrated? Do you need more love? Do you need more attention? And then first step, giving yourself that. Just loving being. Thank you for hanging in there today. Do a little sound journey here to finish off. So upon the last few notes here, we just first chakra. Going to balance. Second chakra. Third. Fourth. Heart. Thank you for being here, everyone. Nice deep meditation today. May all your chakras unfold in a billion beautiful ways. Namaste. See you on Monday.